Welcome to Travel Curiosities, the channel for those who love to go beyond the beaten paths, exploring destinations that are as fascinating as they are dangerous. Today, we'll discover islands with turbulent pasts, places you won't find in traditional travel guides, that test the courage of anyone daring to approach them. And you, have you ever wanted to explore the most extreme corners of our planet? Places where incredibly venomous snakes rule the landscape, hostile tribes shoot arrows at intruders, and active volcanoes force residents to live with toxic gases. If your answer is yes, or if your curiosity compels you to learn more, subscribe to the channel right away and leave a big like on this video. Your support allows us to create more exclusive content. Get ready because we'll reveal the stories and features of 12 islands that will leave you speechless. 1. Tila Fushi, the Garbage Island. When people think of the Maldives, they usually picture a paradise of white beaches and crystal-clear seas.
Yet there's another side to the coin. Tila Fushi, better known as the Garbage Island.
Created in 1992 to address the waste problem generated by mass tourism, this artificial land quickly turned into a massive open-air dump. Originally a lagoon, Tila Fushi was overfilled with all kinds of refuse, plastic, metals, urban waste, broken appliances, and much more. Today, tons of trash are dumped onto the island daily and often burned in the open, producing toxic fumes that contaminate the air and surrounding sea. Its proximity to other inhabited islands increases the risk of pollution to water tables and coral reefs. In short, Tila Fushi represents the silent and dramatic price of unsustainable tourism. Here, nature is forced to retreat in the face of human waste, leaving an indelible mark on one of the world's most famous paradises on Earth. 2. Komodo, the island ruled by dragons. If you think dragons exist only in legends, a trip to Komodo Island and the nearby islands of the Indonesian archipelago might change your mind. There you'll find the famous Komodo dragons, the largest lizards on the planet, capable of exceeding 3 meters in length and 70 kilograms in weight. Their bite is lethal. Within their jaws are bacteria and toxins that can kill even prey of considerable size. These reptiles hunt with patient strategy, watching potential victims for hours before delivering a deadly attack. Their diet is incredibly varied, from small rodents to large buffalo. The Komodo Islands are part of a national park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site created to protect this prehistoric species and its habitat. The park is a draw for adventurers, biologists, and tourists curious about these imposing creatures. However, numerous aggression incidents confirm the importance of exercising maximum caution during excursions. 3. Reunion, enchanting landscapes and dangerous sharks. Famed for its breathtaking views, spectacular waterfalls, and lush tropical forests, the island of Reunion, a French department in the Indian Ocean, hides an underwater menace: bull sharks and tiger sharks, two of the most aggressive species on Earth. Starting in the early 2010s, there was a disturbing rise in attacks on surfers and swimmers. Many beaches once beloved by locals and tourists are now off-limits for swimming, unless protected by barriers or nets, and local authorities have introduced restrictive measures to safeguard residents and visitors. The shark phenomenon makes Reunion a place as fascinating as it is feared, having a major impact on an economy based on beach tourism. Anyone choosing to live or travel here knows that, behind the beauty of the volcanic landscape and turquoise waters, there lurks the shadow of a possible, unwelcome surprise. 4. Miyakejima, the island of gas masks. Imagine a volcanic island where carrying a gas mask is not a sci-fi movie gimmick, but an everyday necessity. That's exactly what happens on Miyakejima, in the Izu archipelago in Japan. Mount Oyama, an active volcano dominating the territory, continuously releases toxic gases such as sulfur dioxide. In 2000, a particularly violent eruption forced the entire population to evacuate for almost 5 years. Upon their return, residents had to adapt to a new normal. Sensors and alarms installed on the island warned them whenever air toxicity levels exceed safety thresholds, requiring them to wear the mask to breathe. Would you ever move to a place where living with harmful gases is a daily habit? Let us know in the comments below. Share your opinion. Would you be willing to endure such extreme conditions for the chance to live in an environment so captivating and out of the ordinary? 5. Ramri Island, where crocodiles rewrote history. We move on to the shores of Myanmar, where Ramri Island is located. Surrounded by mangroves and swamps, Ramree was the stage for one of the most horrific events of World War II. In 1945, a contingent of retreating Japanese soldiers entered the swamps to escape the British troops. Unfortunately, those same swamps were home to fearsome saltwater crocodiles, among the largest and most aggressive of their kind. The ensuing massacre is still cited in the Guinness World Records as the most deadly incident of animal attacks on humans. Many soldiers were literally devoured by the reptiles, while others drowned or died from mortal wounds. Today, the island serves as a reminder of how nature can be indifferent and merciless to human affairs. The more inland areas, surrounded by dense vegetation and murky waters, still retain the dark and eerie aura that shaped Ramree's history. 6. Surtsey, the island born of fire. In the far south of Iceland lies Surtsey, an island that appeared out of nowhere between 1963 and 1967 because of violent submarine volcanic eruptions. In just a few years, a massive amount of lava and ash emerged from the sea, forming a one-of-a-kind natural laboratory. From the start, Icelandic authorities decided to protect Surtsey, to study how life first colonizes a completely virgin environment. Plants, insects, birds, and microorganisms arrive spontaneously, carried by the wind or ocean currents, enabling scientists to document the step-by-step progression of ecosystem colonization. Declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the island is closed to tourism, and access is granted only to authorized researchers. The meteorological and volcanic conditions remain challenging. Surtsey is a boundary between the Earth's primordial power and the patient expansion of life. 7. Ilha da Queimada Grande, the Island of Snakes. Traveling to Brazil, we encounter an island with a poetic yet misleading name. Ilha da Queimada Grande, nicknamed the Island of Snakes. The nickname is not a flight of fancy. Bothrops insularis, among the most venomous snakes in existence, thrive here at an astonishing density, with estimates varying from 1 to 5 snakes per square meter. The venom of these vipers is so potent that it dissolves the tissues of prey within moments. The island's geographical isolation has fostered an evolution with no natural predators, giving snakes a dominant role in the local ecosystem. Legends of missing fishermen and lighthouse keepers who died under mysterious circumstances have enhanced the island's sinister reputation. For safety reasons and to protect the species, the island is off-limits to tourism. Only a small number of researchers with special permits can enter this lethal realm to collect scientific data and better understand Ilha da Queimada Grande's unique ecological balance. 8. Gaiola Island, the curse of the Gulf of Naples. It looks like a tiny paradise lapped by the crystal-clear waters of the Gulf of Naples, yet Gaiola Island is surrounded by stories of misfortune and alleged curses. Since the 19th century, a series of tragic events rapidly befell the island's owners. Sudden illnesses, financial ruin, mysterious deaths, these all led Neapolitans to consider Gaiola a cursed place. Among the prominent names linked to this curse is Gianni Agnelli, a major Italian entrepreneur who experienced various personal tragedies during the period he was connected to the island. Today, Gaiola is almost completely abandoned. Few spend much time on this rocky outcrop that seems to hide secrets and negative forces. Despite its natural beauty, Gaiola remains an elusive destination where allure intertwines with fear, and local lore discourages even the bravest from purchasing it. 9. Hashima Gunkanjima, the ghost island of Japan. Known as Gunkanjima, or Battleship Island due to its shape, Hashima lies about 15 kilometers from the city of Nagasaki. Once a thriving mining center for coal extraction, it featured buildings, schools, shops, and housing for workers in a crowded space. With the decline of coal, Hashima was suddenly abandoned, leaving behind ruined buildings and a post-apocalyptic landscape that has inspired filmmakers and photographers worldwide. For years, access was forbidden due to hazardous structural conditions. Today, restricted guided tours are allowed, but the island retains the disturbing charm of a ghost town. Strolling among the remnants of apartment blocks and mining structures feels like walking through a dystopian future. Hashima symbolizes both the power and the fragility of human endeavor, a warning of how, once resources are depleted, a society can vanish in the blink of an eye. 10. Saba, the shortest runway in the world. Back to the Caribbean, where Saba Island greets daring visitors with a singular attraction, the shortest runway in the world, only 400 meters long. Flanked by mountains on one side and the sea on the other, for pilots,
Landing or taking off on Saba is a test of extreme skill, made even more challenging by the strong winds that blow in the area. This unique airstrip makes Saba a destination for a niche of thrill-seeking tourists. Once on the island, visitors discover a pristine and wild environment, perfect for diving and hiking. The few who venture here speak of a place that, though small, offers unforgettable excitement, starting with the heart-stopping landing. 11. North Sentinel, the inaccessible island. Among the Andaman Islands in the Indian Ocean stands the mysterious North Sentinel. At first glance, it appears to be a tropical paradise surrounded by clear waters and white sand beaches. In reality, this land is inhabited by the Sentinelese, an indigenous tribe that has lived in complete isolation for thousands of years and violently rejects any attempt at external contact. In 2004, following a devastating tsunami, an Indian helicopter approached the island to check on the tribe's condition. It was greeted with arrows and spears, indicating that, despite the disaster, the Sentinelese did not want help from the modern world. A few years later, fishermen who accidentally drifted into the area were killed. The Indian government strictly prohibits access to North Sentinel, both to protect the Sentinelese from the risk of outside diseases and to safeguard the lives of foolhardy adventurers. It's a corner of the world where time seems frozen, witness to a culture untouched and unaffected by any external influence. 12. The Marshall Islands, the legacy of nuclear tests. Postcards from the Marshall Islands in the vast Pacific Ocean show pristine beaches and dreamy turquoise waters. Yet between 1946 and 1958, the United States carried out over 60 nuclear tests here, including the fearsome Castle Bravo, which unleashed far more energy than expected. The atolls of this archipelago were devastated by explosions and contaminated by radiation, forcing mass evacuations of residents. Many of those exposed developed serious illnesses and deformities, paying a dire price for the nuclear arms race. Even today, some areas still have radiation levels too high to ensure a safe return. Nevertheless, the Marshall Islands continue to draw researchers, activists, and divers fascinated by submerged wrecks, testaments to World War II and the nuclear tests. These atolls stand as an indelible reminder of the risks of nuclear energy and the impact of human interference on such fragile ecosystems. We have reached the end of this incredible tour among 12 islands at the limits of danger and reason. Some emerged from volcanic fires. Others are home to venomous snakes in staggering density, hostile tribes, or gigantic prehistoric reptiles. Some places face toxic gases, some suffer from nuclear tests, and still others are plagued by a curse straight out of a Gothic novel. In any case, each of these lands tells a unique story in which nature imposes its rules and humans remain guests, sometimes welcome, often unwelcome. From my point of view, it's fascinating how these extreme islands remind us that we are guests on an incredibly varied and complex planet. Not everything is meant to be tamed or turned into a tourist attraction. Sometimes, the only possible approach is to observe with respect nature's primordial power and accept that there are places where human intervention does more harm than good. Before saying goodbye, let me remind you to subscribe to the Travel Curiosities channel and to leave a big like on this video if you enjoyed our adventure. Tell us in the comments which of these islands struck you the most and whether you would be willing to visit it in a hypothetical journey. Click on the video now appearing on your screen to continue exploring the most mysterious and fascinating places on Earth. Thank you for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next video. Get ready for more extraordinary discoveries, and remember, sometimes the real journey begins where humankind dares not set foot.